Witamy serdecznie na spotkaniu z ciekawym człowiekiem, Mr. Slash. Przypominam, że pytania zadajemy po angielsku. Proszę się przedstawić z imienia i nazwiska oraz medium, jakie się reprezentuje. Przypominam, że nie robimy zdjęć i nie pytamy o to, o czym mówiła Asia. Proszę, pierwsze pytanie.
Hi Slash, welcome to Poland. Should we consider Velvet Revolver as a closed chapter, or is it still a parallel project happening along with your current project?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a parallel thing because it still exists, but we haven't done anything because we've been trying to find a new singer and all that kind of stuff. So that sort of stopped it in its tracks. So until we find somebody who's suitable to be the front man for that band, it's just sort of dormant.
Prosimy już. Kolejne pytanie.
Hi, my name is Bartek. I'm from Polish Radio Katowice. Welcome to Katowice, first of all. I know you're here since yesterday. You came in the morning. That means you had one day off. What do you usually do when you have a day off on tour? And what did you do yesterday? What did you do today?
I usually sit in my room and play my guitar and record and stuff like that. Yet last night was the first time I've left the hotel since the store started. But I went to dinner close to the hotel at a really cool little traditional Polish restaurant.
What did you have?
Do you remember what it was called? You have it on your phone. Pierogies and schnitzel and some ribs, and you know those little pastas, round pasta.
Pierogi?
Yeah, there you go. What was this place called? Called Chadazi Zalapia.
Okay. Was it any good?
It was awesome.
Slash, when Jimi Hendrix died, you were 5. How would you describe today the impact and the endless importance of Jimi Hendrix achievements?
That's a pretty broad question. I mean, well, it's just so happens I was thinking about him. It was yesterday, because you know Hendrix is somebody that had a big impact on me as a guitar player. It's just he, you know, even though he had a lot of diversity in his style, he was the original hard rock guitar player. And when I listened to him, you know, you listen to something like Foxy Lady or something, and there's still nobody that's really done it with that kind of sense of abandon and that kind of wildness, you know. So I love Hendrix.
Slash, there are rumors that Scott is coming back to the Velvet Revolver.
No, that's a Scott thing.
Okay, but if not Scott, would you consider Miles? Import him from your solo project and from Alter Bridge to the Velvet Revolver?
Well, you know, the thing is Velvet Revolver, Miles was thought of before Scott, but I didn't, at that time I didn't know who Miles was, and Miles got a demo tape and he said great, and this was over the phone, but he never submitted his vocals, so nothing ever happened with it, and I forgot all about it. And then after Scott got fired, Miles's name came up again, and at that point he was in Alter Bridge, so he wasn't interested. And after that was when I talked to him about doing this solo tour with me, and so we have sort of an arrangement, but he doesn't have time to be in Velvet Revolver. That's a 24/7 job.
Okay, thanks.
Kolega w niebieskim z brązowymi rękawami.
Hello, Michał Worań from Interia.pl. Tell me, when did you know that Miles is the best option for your band, and when Slash and Friends from first solo album be changing to Slash, Miles and the Conspirators?
That's a good question. Well, when I did the solo record with all the different singers, at that point, I still had never met Miles and didn't even know what he sang like. Matt Sorum was the one that mentioned him back in 2002 when Velvet Revolver was first starting. And so I wasn't familiar with him at all. But after I made pretty much the whole record, I still had 2 songs that were left over that I needed somebody to sing, and I couldn't think of any, big name singers that seemed appropriate for these 2 songs. And at that time, I just heard that Zeppelin had flown out Miles Kennedy to go see if maybe he would do the Zeppelin tour. And I read that and I was like, well, this guy's got to be pretty good. So I called him up and I told him that I was making this record with these different singers and would he be interested in trying on singing on a track. So he said yeah, and I sent him some music and he sent it back a week later and it's a song called Starlight. So I heard Starlight and I was just like, this guy's fucking awesome, right? So I flew him out to LA and we met for the first time and we just on a personal level hit it off really well. And so we recorded Starlight, like the studio version, and then we did another song which ended up being Back from Cali. And at that point I asked him if he wanted to do the tour because I was putting together a band to go out and tour to support that record. So he signed on to do that, and then I met Brent Fitz and he introduced me to Todd Kearns. And we went out on the road for like, I think we had like a month's worth of dates. And that month turned into about a year and a half of touring. And so during the tour, I thought, well, I should just make a record with these guys. And here we are. So we're going to do another one. And so I called it Slash featuring Miles Kennedy to give due credit to Miles, who's going to be the front man of this thing. And then along the way, the rhythm section is just as important. I didn't want to change my name and take out Miles Kennedy, so we just added another name to it and called them the Conspirators.
Za nim makak koleżanka w czerwonym z żółtym na środku.
Jesus, you're way the
It's for me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so hi, Slash, Paulina Resner from Polska Times. As long as we can hear in Anesthesia, you are classical music lover and fan. Is there any chance for Polish people to hear you one day playing some classical composers, Polish classical composers?
Like serious classical compositions?
Yeah, I mean it.
I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of sort of classical influence, or at least classical music that just turned me on ever since I was a kid. But I think to sit down and focus solely on classical music, I have too short an attention span. And I'm a rock person, so I have to have that sort of aggressive attack. So I like just sort of put it where I feel it, just naturally. I don't like to focus on trying to be that.
Makak.
Makak, Rebel TV, Anti-Radio. Yeah, it's me again. Sorry. Could you please kind of tell me anything about your first guitar, when you started playing guitar and how it happened? Who was your hero?
Well, my first guitar was an acoustic guitar, and I had one string on it. And so I learned a lot of songs on that one string, and I learned how to play, obviously, Smoke on the Water, right? I learned how to play Dazed and Confused, anything you could do on one string. So I'd say Ritchie Blackmore, Jimmy Page, Hendrix. I mean, there was a handful of guitar players that, when I first started, that I focused on. Eric Clapton, Keith Richards, Joe Perry and Brad Whitford from Aerosmith. Those are all like really, and Brian May, you know.
And when you changed it for a 6-string guitar?
Well, I learned how to put the other 5 strings on it. Not too long after that. I think I played on the one string for probably a few months, and then someone taught me how to put the other strings on.
Thank you.
Yeah. This guy right here, 'cause
parytetów.
with a
No dobra,
sweater.
w szarym kolega. Tak.
Hi Slash.
Hey.
My name is Piotr Bartulewicz. I'm from
You gotta speak up though, because you're...
Piotr Bartulewicz from Newsweek Poland.
Hi.
Okay, when I listened to your last record, I realized that it sounds as you and Miles played together for many years. How do you perceive the way you sound now?
Well, I mean,
as a band with Miles.
I don't have the same perspective as you would listening to it from the outside, but I would say that when Miles and I first met on my first solo record, there was a very, what you call, automatic chemistry that happened. So we just sort of work well together, and very easily together and feel comfortable with each other. So I think that's sort of accounts for why it sounds cohesive, you know. And I'm looking forward to doing the next record because, you know, the first one, that's the first time that we've done a whole album of original material. So I think we're only scratching the surface of what we can do in the future.
Łukasz, ostatnie pytanie,
Hello,
więc
Łukasz,
to już ostatnie pytanie.
Mobile music slash your nickname, frankly speaking, means that you've been always on the run.
Wait, I can't hear you. What?
Okay, your nickname,
Yeah.
your stage nickname means that you've been always on the run, 5 minutes ahead of the rest of the guys, thinking about new things. So my question is, until this tour will be finished, what's next?
After this tour, well, I'm working on material for the next record, and I've got a horror movie that I produced that's actually finished, that's coming out next year, so I'm going to have to probably get behind that. But mostly, you know, promoting that and working on material for the next Conspirators record, which will come out next year.
Bardzo serdecznie dziękujemy, chyba że...
Można? Can I?
Yeah.
One more, please. I'd like to ask you about blues. Do you consider blues as a good starting point for rock guitar players?
Well, you know, it really depends on it really depends on the individual. You know, it's like if that's what turns them on, then yes. You know, like it shouldn't be like, well, you need to learn this. It should be learning what you hear that appeals to you. You know, so if it's blues, then it's blues. If it's Chuck Berry type rock and roll guitar, then, you know, it could be anything that really excites you.
I asked about it because you cooperated with Beth Hart, who is
Yeah.
on the cover here, and she's coming here next week.
Yeah, she's great. All right, where's that phone? Ciao.
Dziękujemy bardzo. Przypominamy o sprawnym opuszczaniu pomieszczenia i sprawnym administracji.
the lovely and talented Mr. Brett Fitz. And one more time for Mr. Todd. Damn it, Kirk. This man right here. I'm sure you already knew this, but this is Mr. Miles motherfucking Kennedy.